We live in a world ablaze. The flames lick at the edge of our lives, and the smoke fills our lungs. Everywhere we look, there's a new fire, literal and figurative, threatening to consume everything we've ever known. Some say it's the end, that we're witnessing the final act of a grand tragedy that has been centuries in the making. And maybe they're right. But here's the thing about fire. It doesn't just destroy. It cleanses. It purifies. It forges steel in its heat. And out of the ashes, something new always rises. It's been that way since the dawn of time. And it will be that way long after we're gone. So here we are, standing on the edge of oblivion. But we're not afraid. We're not backing down. Neither should you. Because this is a moment we've been waiting for. The moment where we prove what we're made of. Where we decide if we're going to let the flames consume us. Or if we're going to rise stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. This podcast, this voice in the darkness, is our beacon. It's a signal that we're still here, that we're still fighting. And we're not going anywhere. Not now, not ever. We're gonna talk about the hard things, the things that make your blood boil and your heart race. We're going to face the reality of our world, no matter how painful, because only by confronting the truth can we change it. So, if you're ready to walk through the fire with us, if you're ready to look the world in the eye and say, I'm still standing, then you're in the right place. Because this isn't the end. Nah, far from it. It's just the beginning. Welcome back. Let's get to work.
What kind of music is that, man?
I think like
Bachata or something?
like corridos tumbados.
Corrido?
Yeah. And then there.
All right. Okay. Very good. All right. So we're back. We haven't done one of these in a long time.
Yeah.
I want to say like maybe like 2 years or whatever. We have gone together here and there, hanging out, but we never again, did another podcast. A lot has happened between the last time we did this to today. Not just in our own lives, but in the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, if y'all just want to give an update, how y'all doing, anything new, whatever, just quickly.
Nothing. Just I guess working, chilling.
Yeah, same.
I guess
Been working.
Pharmacy life,
pharmacy
Yeah.
life.
same old.
Yeah, but a lot has changed, like you said, in the world and I guess in all of our personal lives. I
Yeah.
think that.
Oh,
I don't know,
yeah.
when was the last time we did this? Do you remember?
I want to say it was
2 years?
like 2022.
2022?
I want to
That's a
say
long time.
maybe.
And it was weird because I think the last video it says it was gonna be a part 1, but
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because
Uploaded.
We're already due
I think I remember the part 2. I had it, but then I think I remember sending you all a text like, you know what, the audios got deleted. Somehow they got
Oh.
deleted when I transferred it.
Oh,
So I was just like, it got lost,
está bien.
So I remember that had happened.
Pues we're back.
I had actually had that edited out, and then something happened that it couldn't find the audio. But yeah, like we're back, and so one of the things that me and Joanne, in our personal lives, we became insurance agents in the state of Texas. So that is one new thing that we did do. So I have a list of topics here, right? Since it's been a long time, I just shotgunned topics, right? October 7, the
Yeah.
Olympic opening controversy, the Trump assassination attempt, Joe Biden dropping out endorsing Kamala, free abortions at the DNC, 800,000 jobs lost compared to what they were saying, The culture wars, this is something more just free. Cost of everything going up, monkeypox. RFK Jr. today, he endorsed Trump. Why your vote matters and stuff like this. This is what I have, topics.
Yeah.
But we might deviate.
Like we
sometimes.
usually do.
Yeah,
Not
it's like we-
too much this time. I'll be sure to try to keep
Oh,
you
okay.
guys
You're the
on
referee,
track.
Joanne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Step in.
we
Feel free to step in.
we
Yeah.
decided to agree upon.
Yeah, no, so yeah, because, that was one thing that, we start a topic and then we just deviate and roller coaster somewhere else, right? So in regards to the October 7, 2023 thing, obviously, like, if you don't know what's going on, right, you either in the 30 Seconds to Mars called off the island. You heard about that?
No.
What's the guy's the lead singer, Jared Leto or whatever? He has like a cult, and they have an island like somewhere out in the Pacific or whatever.
Okay.
And they have these packages. You go online, you buy, you get to meet the artist. He's like the lead singer of this rock band, right? So you buy a package. You get to essentially what you're gonna do is, well, you're not just gonna see him, right? So you're paying for sex, essentially.
Oh.
And this is like a cult kind of thing, right?
A ritual. Or
So
something.
when the whole C thing happened, right, and I'm gonna censor that because YouTube is real particular with mentioning things. When the C happened, right, these guys, they came out of that island and they're like, what's happening in the world? Like, they had no clue. They were completely shut off, so no technology or anything. So unless you've been living in there, right, or under a rock or whatever, you know what happened on October 7, right?
Okay.
Palestinians, Hamas, they went in there. They disrupted a music festival. They butchered, essentially raped some women, little girls. This is as far as what was reported. They never showed anything. We never got to see anything. But according to some journalists that they do have copies of those videos, they got to see. So we're all just on the word of mouth of somebody else.
But that's how it all started.
Yeah.
Back in 2023. That was the first thing that initiated the whole thing.
So, well, and their whole thing is, that they believe they're in an apartheid state, and that means that they're basically being colonized,
Okay.
and that
By Israel.
by Israelis, and that Israel is the aggressor here. They're the ones keeping them from prospering or whatever. So
They're actually accusing the Israel of committing genocide, no? to them at the Gaza.
yeah, and there,
place
so
for-
so it's a whole, it's like it's a sensitive subject, right? I have no family members that were taken hostage. I know that they're still hostages. I don't know what that's like. I've never been in that situation. I can empathize.
Yeah.
I can try to understand, how horrible that must be. We're going on a year now,
Yeah, it's been a while.
that people have been missing, Yeah, by now, you have hope that they would be alive, but,
Yeah,
that's the
no,
way
it's
it's
so
looking
long.
now is like,
It's been so long.
that just ain't the case, I want to say.
There's been talk about ceasefire
Yeah.
lately,
Yeah, there's been talk about
but they can never come to
having
any
a
kind of
peace
agreement or
and-
anything.
Yeah, I know. So in regards to all this, you obviously with that, you get to this crossroads in a second. Am I gonna go left? Am I gonna go right? I gotta pick a side, right?
Yeah.
Because in everything in this world, apparently now you have to pick a side. Because if you're not picking a side, then you don't stand for anything or whatever. But you just can't be neutral, right? Now, me, I'll speak on myself. I'll speak on my behalf.
Yep.
I'm gonna side with Israel.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take Israel's side. Okay. I believe that they are entitled to that land.
Okay.
I believe that the Bible says that they are. I believe that that is the oldest, if anything, of any land deeds that had ever existed, or before land deeds were even a thing, that we would know what a land deed was when God gave the land of milk and honey, as it's so worded in Genesis, to Abraham. And
Okay.
this is what the Bible says. So if we were looking at any land deeds from back in the day, this is the earliest thing that we could see, and we hold true to this thing, right? Are Palestinians entitled to this land? No, they're not. Does that mean that they can't share it? No, it doesn't. What it means is you can't go and attack people because you believe that it belongs to you. And that's their belief. They believe that that land is theirs and not the Jews. So this is, again, where, right, you break up into topics and stuff. But keeping it basic, I'm just going off of what is written, and I choose Israel's side. You know, despite the killings, despite the children dying, despite all of this, you know, this is war. All right, time out here real quick. I need to interrupt this video to go over a few things. Okay, first things first. Did you smash that like button over here? Did you hit that subscribe button somewhere over here? While you're doing that, I'd love to take this opportunity to talk to you real quick about a serious matter. Okay, life is unpredictable, but your family's future doesn't have to be. Okay, do you have family? Do you have people that depend on you and you love them very much? What would become of them if something unfortunate were to happen to you? Okay, would they be able to produce $15,000 for funeral expenses, etc.? If no, then make sure you reach out to Simple Insurance. Okay, secure your legacy with Simple Insurance. Simple Insurance is securing legacies one client at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time. Again, protect what matters most by giving yourself peace of mind and send that final love letter to the ones that you love in the unfortunate event that something were to happen to you. Okay, get a free quote today. Again, that's Simple Insurance. The information will be in the description box below. And as always, peace. There's no, in war, there is no, this paycheckers, right? No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
People are going to die, you know, in war. There's no going around that. That's the reality of things, you know. People die.
There's all kind of casualties, yeah.
So, does it suck? Yes, it does suck, but this is what it leads to, you know.
Yep.
And you can't avoid it now. It's not a thing. Like, I get the whole ceasefire, but there can be no cease. Like, this thing has to end.
It has to end somehow.
Like, it has to be done, because we ceasefire tomorrow, and then next week, oh, let's do this crap again, because they vowed that they were going to do that again. They said we want to do this again. So when somebody's like that, you know, and they told you today, yesterday, they arrested some man who was threatening to assassinate Trump. On social media, just threatening him. These guys posted this stuff on social media. You know, they've said. So, keeping to the same thing. So long as they've said that they were going to do this again, what do we want to do? We want to take preventative measures.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe Israel's in the right. Call it a genocide, call it whatever you want. It's meant. This is what's supposed to happen. And whatever happens, that's just how it's supposed to play out, you know.
Yeah. And the U.S. is... what's it called? Helping them out, right? Like,
yes. Well,
money wise and everything.
Kind of like Biden, the administration right now is, you know, they're holding off on something. I don't know if you heard, you know, like maybe a couple of months ago, they didn't want to send certain weapons out or whatever. You know, they wanted to do all this stuff.
And then we can't forget that there's still another war going on in Russia and Ukraine. That's still going on. And that's been going on for longer.
Yeah, that's going on for longer. That one actually broke out in 2022. In March, I think. 2022? Yeah, 2022 was when that broke out.
Yeah, and I don't want to scare anyone, but there's all this talk also like on TikTok and stuff, and everybody's saying it, like, oh, we're on the brink of World War III. And stuff because of this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you guys think, but how much do you think this? Last time we were talking about when Biden sent the U.S. troops back from Afghanistan. Do you think it had anything to do with all that's going on right now over there?
It could be. Who knows, man? Like, it was just a culmination of events that just like the president of Iran just died. The helicopter just stopped. You heard about that, right?
No.
The helicopter just didn't work. They flew over some mountain.
And when was
down.
That?
This was
this
was like in May, I think.
During when this whole thing was going
down.
But
it didn't flew over a mountain, like how it didn't have enough elevation or
something like that. Like it stalled high in the altitudes and the helicopter just went down. So yeah, his name was Ibrahim.
And who took his place?
Some other guy that the Ayatollah.
They were ready. And then they kept on the same.
So the same
going on the same course.
Yeah, the same mentality. So
what if it was planned?
It could be.
It could have been.
It could have been. Yeah.
This kind of situations, you never know.
And that guy was he was also known as the Butcher of Tehran. When it was Iran, right? Iran in the Bible is known as Persia. So these are Persians. This is where like King Cyrus was from there in the Book of Daniel and stuff. Assyrians and just around the area. these guys, they still had a monarchy up until the 60s. And then the Ayatollah Khamenei, right, which is the regime that entered, right, essentially couped the government, you know, and they installed themselves in. And the prince at that time, I think they killed a lot of the monarch, but one of the prince that survived, I think if I remember this correctly, he came to the States. I think he's even somewhere in Jersey now. He's an exiled prince, but he is the heir to the throne, you know, and that royalty. They were royal, you know. One of my dad's uncles who passed away was the one who flew him out of. That's why I know that.
Okay.
He was the pilot who flew him out and brought him to the States. But it's a whole, you know, Muslims and Jews and all this and ideas and stuff, you know. And I honestly think that, you know, at this point, you know, at this point in time, the only way to fix this is like, God's gonna have to come and fix it. Like, that's what I think. Like, yeah, there's no other way, you know. I want to say that what has to happen has to play out, and the world has to go in a certain direction before something is triggered in the heaven.
I was gonna say this in parentheses, bro. Like, not to expound too much on this, but it's complicated for me to understand how this whole thing, you know, because is allowed, you know. Like, how can I say it? Like, it's all part of God's plan. I don't know. I don't understand. Pero the Palestinian people, they all, if you trace back, you know, their roots and everything, they all come from Adam, from not Adam, sorry, from Abraham, right? So it's believed that Isaac is the father of the Israelites, right, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then the Ishmael, which was born of the slave. That's where the Palestinian people come from, right?
Yeah.
It's believed that. And the funny thing is that God had promised Abraham, Isaac, right? He promised that you have a son. They couldn't have any children, and then him and his wife Sarah had an idea for him to sleep with the slave and have a child, and then eventually Sarah had her child as God has promised, and Abraham had to send his son away, and the son and the mom were about to die in the desert, but then God appears to them too, and he tells them that they're going to be okay, and he also tells them kind of like a blessing, I guess, because he told them you'll also be many nations or something like that, right? So it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to say anything, but it's interesting to see how it all plays out.
No, like the division of everything, but it's like we go to like Adam and Eve, and it's like, well, whose fault was it, right? That all this would happen, and the woman, but she tricked the man. Well, no, the woman blamed the serpent because she was deceived and all these things. But you can see like the division. The division, you know?
I guess that you're onto something. I mean, there's so much division in the world, and at every level, bro. There's nation against nation, and then within the same nation, there's what is it
Political
called?
parties.
Political parties against each other, and then there's different kind of states. You go even at our family, we have our families, and there's family members who are divided. There's division all over the place, and I guess that's you're onto something.
No, yeah. So like one thing that is true is like the devil is a great divider. Like, you know, it's like we can divide as much people as he can. You know, that's what he would do. That's what he would do. And that's what he's done. You know, dividing as much as possible. That way, it makes it easier to pick off targets, I guess.